See, if we go back to the history of Europe, the Dark Ages, and then when humanism starts, like basically we go, you know what, like we want to put the divine, we want to put all these spiritual things and everything aside because, fair enough. I mean, like so many bad things was happening at the time, under the name of divine, and so, and then Rene Descartes shows up. That very famous saying that I think, therefore I am. And then that gives birth to Renaissance in great part, and then we call it Enlightenment, and then fair enough.
Yeah.
From then, it seems that like we were so arrogantly, because we put the human being at the center of the universe. You are the epicenter of everything. And arrogantly, we've been quite proud of all these achievements that we have come up with, yeah, with that cognition, cognitive science, scientific way of thinking. Like we experienced Renaissance, we experienced like later on, like Industrial Revolution, addressing the shortage crisis, all the way to internet, water web, and e-commerce, all the way now to
Yes.
AI.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Many of these different constructs and institutions that we have created on top of this purely humanistic approach or bedrock, the meta content, are now being quite challenged. Now, there are thinkers that they write books and they talk about like how rationality just is so great and everything. Yeah, it is. It increased our lifespan. It eased our life in certain. But at the same time, it's also the scientific way of thinking that gave birth to nuclear bombs, chemical weapons. It also gave birth to addictive substances. Now, some different people in different fields, in economy, in politics, then they're seeing some of these dysfunctions and they're voicing it out. Let's say, for example, Joseph Stiglitz, economist from Columbia University, wrote this book called Free Fall, and in which he's talking about like it's not like one particular country's economy that is collapsing, but actually it's the modern science of economy that it's collapsing. Yeah, and then some others are criticizing capitalism, some other people are criticizing politics and our democracy, where the democracy is going, human right is under question now, all of these things. And many of the institutions like UNICEF and UN. So what is happening beyond the elites and intellectuals? Like people are actually experiencing some of this fishy smell. Now, that void that is being created by this storm coming and shaking all of these things, because I don't think that it's the different fields that are being shaken, it's the actual bedrock that is being challenged. And the house which is built on sand, it is not going to stand the course of time. So many of these constructs, many of these institutions are now being challenged, and will they all collapse? No. But many of them, they have their roots in inauthenticities. They are doomed to be transformed. Now, this void that is being created, lots of people are actually, they're experiencing mental illnesses. They're dealing with severe anxiety, depression, etc., etc. Some, they tap into hedonism, just pleasure seeking, putting the dummy in their mouth and be happy. On the other side, the opportunity is many people are actually looking to fill that void of tapping into an alternative meta content and seeking meaning. So basically, similar to the time that when we outsource the burden of like heavy lifting and labor to machines, and lots of people freaked out and we were going to lose our job and everything. But then the opportunity was like it drew our attention to these other aspects of our consciousness, which is our intellect and cognition and everything. And similarly now, especially with the advance of AI and everything, and lots of people are being freaked out, but then I see it as an opportunity in great part because we're outsourcing the computation to machines, to AI, and that's opening up this opportunity for us to pay attention to the yet another, perhaps more important dimensions of our consciousness, which is related to the spirituality conversation and meaning, which we talked about.